Introducing Mark Redwine, the man who unfortunately unalived his own son over some selfies of himself. But what was so special about those selfies? Watch the video to find out. If you would like to see more of our content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Mark Redwine was married to a woman named Elaine Hatfield and divorced after living a few years. They together had 2 children, Corey, the first son, who was born in 1993, and Dylan, the second son, who was 9 years younger than his brother. After the divorce, 2 children lived with their mother together, but although Dylan had to visit his dad quite often, such as in holidays due to the court order, 2 children had a good relationship with their mother, but they didn't quite like visiting or seeing their father. One day, Dylan and Corey invited to their father's house as they usually did. Dylan's hate towards his father started that day when he suddenly found some selfies taken by his father. In one of the selfies, Mark Redwine appeared to be wearing a woman's bra and eating human feces. It was totally disgusting. Dylan called his brother Corey into the bathroom and showed the photos to his brother. Corey took out his cell phone and took some photos from the computer. They didn't tell anyone about this, but they both realized that their father was mentally unstable. It was Thanksgiving 2012. According to the court, Dylan had to invite to his father. Although Dylan didn't want to do that, he had to go. So he flew to his father's house. According to some reports, he even said he doesn't want to go there to his mother. After almost 24 hours passed after Dylan left, Mark texted Elaine saying, "Do you know where Dylan is? I can't find him. He said he was going somewhere." Elaine was both shocked and feared, and texted back saying, "It has not even been 24 hours since he left. I am suspecting you." After that, Elaine, first son Corey, and her new husband, they all started driving towards where Mark lives, and on their way they all alerted media and the police about the search for Dylan. As the hours turned into days, the search for Dylan intensified. The local authorities, along with the community, joined forces to locate the missing 13-year-old. Search parties were formed, helicopters scanned the area, and posters were plastered across the small town of Vallecito, Colorado. While Elaine and her family were determined to find answers, Mark Redwine's behavior started raising eyebrows. In interviews with law enforcement and media, his reactions seemed oddly detached. While most parents would be devastated by the loss of a child, Mark appeared distant, unemotional. His behavior didn't fit the mold of a grieving parent. The police began to question Mark's account of the events. He insisted that Dylan had simply walked off and not returned, but his vague explanations did little to convince investigators. Suspicion grew. Months passed without any sign of Dylan. Finally, in June 2013, a breakthrough came. Hikers stumbled upon human remains in a remote area of the forest, about 8 miles from Mark Redwine's house. The remains were confirmed to be Dylan's, but the mystery was far from solved. Some of Dylan's bones were found scattered across the area, while his skull wouldn't be discovered until 2 years later. As forensic investigators worked to piece together what happened, the evidence began to point back to Mark. Blood was found in various locations around his house, including on the couch and the floor. Cadaver dogs also signaled that a body had been in his truck. It was becoming harder for Mark to explain away these growing inconsistencies. As the investigation continued, Dylan's brother Corey shared the disturbing photos that Dylan had found before his death. The images of Mark Redwine, dressed in a woman's bra and posing with human feces, became a key element of the case. Investigators now had a potential motive. Dylan's discovery of those humiliating images may have led to an explosive confrontation with his father, one that ended in tragedy. Mark, of course, denied any involvement in his son's death. He claimed that Dylan must have been attacked by a wild animal, but the forensic evidence told a different story. The remains of Dylan's skull showed signs of blunt force trauma, making the theory of a wild animal attack unlikely. It wasn't until 2017 that Mark Redwine was finally arrested and charged with second-degree murder and child abuse resulting in death. The trial, which took place in 2021, was filled with emotional testimony from family members and gruesome forensic details. Dylan's brother Corey testified about the disturbing photos and how they might have led to the fatal confrontation. In July 2021, the jury found Mark Redwine guilty. He was sentenced to 48 years in prison, bringing some closure to a long and painful saga. The tragic story of Dylan Redwine serves as a chilling reminder of how quickly family secrets can spiral into violence. What began as an innocent visit between a father and son ended in a horrific tragedy that left a mother without her child and a community shaken to its core. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more true crime stories. Let us know in the comments if there's a case you'd like us to cover next.